to continue to ski and attend a college that has a water ski team. These skiers have attended KU, Missouri State, Iowa State, Iowa, Purdue, and even Alabama. Many, even from competitive colleges, highlighted how great the vibe here at Iowa State was and how awesome of a ski site we have. The water ski team is one of the key reasons why I decided to attend Iowa State. In addition to becoming the current Iowa State water ski president, I am also the Athletic Advisory Council voting member representing the Midwest region on the National Collegiate Water Ski Association. A little brief overview of our specific sport in collegiate water ski is that we are a competitive water ski that competes in 3 different events. Competitors are on one of approximately 50 teams across the nation competing in slalom, trick, and jump. Team totals are calculated and scored. During the spring semester in 2022, the Water Ski Club was notified from the university that it is considered a high-risk sports club and not supported by rec sport services anymore. And they wanted to have a meeting for information on our safety measures. The club attended this meeting in March with the university officials of General Counsel. In this meeting, both Sydney and I were present, as well as the president of the National Collegiate Water Ski Association and the National Collegiate Water Ski Safety Representation, to discuss what the club does in terms of the safety precautions. In this meeting, we explained that all of the Iowa State water ski team members are required to have insurance through the USA Water Ski Club, the governing body for all disciplines of water skiing in the nation, before joining. The club practices at Dream Lake Estates, a private lake about 20 minutes off campus that was built specifically for 3-event water skiing. All practices and tournaments are sanctioned by USA Water Ski. This sanctioning includes specific safety protocols, such as requiring a well-trained boat driver and an on-site accredited safety coordinator at all times while a member is skiing. All members also must wear a life jacket while skiing, and there's only ever one skier at a time. Before every tournament, a new liability waiver and travel authorization waiver gets sent out to all of our skiers to get signed individually. In the 2021 calendar year, there were only 8 injuries of the 5,909 rides during all of collegiate water ski events. These injuries include 2 concussions, sprains to knees and ankles, and 1 laceration. Collegiate water skiing is the largest membership growth across the entire water ski community. So there are a lot of people who support what we do. This can be shown by the response of our petition we put out recently on change.org that currently has 4,831 supporters that have signed. Some other colleges have what they call independent student organizations. We think that this is something that should be pursued at Iowa State. For what we have found, these clubs are affiliated with their school and it is recognized as enrolled students, but receive no financial support from their school. In this manner, the liability gets shifted away from the colleges and onto the sports club itself. Since we are required to be members of the USA Water Ski, the safety protocols and liability insurance are already well defined and purchased. Without something like this in place, our water ski club will almost definitely stop, and students will no longer get to choose your adventure at Iowa State, and some will have to attend other colleges to pursue water skiing. Thank you.
Is there anyone else here for open forum this evening? Seeing none, we'll go into adopting tonight's agenda. Is there a motion to do so? Is there any objection to adopting tonight's agenda as sent out earlier? Seeing none, the agenda is adopted. We'll move on to approving the minutes of last meeting. Is there a motion to do so?
Mr. President, I move to add Senator Agba to the roll.
Is there any objection? Seeing none, Senator Agba, you are added to the roll. Been moved and seconded to adopt last week's minutes. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, they are adopted. We'll move on to committee reports for the evening, starting off with rules with Speaker Mahoney.
Rules did not meet last week as we had nothing to discuss.
We will move on to Finance Committee with Director Claiborne.
Hello, everyone. You should have received the this meeting's edition for the Claiborne's Cash Cow. The biggest thing that we have last meeting was funding the SciRite advertisements for the Carrie Chapman Center, and that was sent favorably with just a few amendments. We can talk about that more when the bill comes, and then we will see a new senator tonight. We also have a clerk, so I'm very excited for that, so I don't have to take minutes anymore. And then this week and the next week, I will be interviewing at-larges. And then just an update too, next week we're going to finalize our condensed P&C for organizations, and then also our resources for other funding avenues. So yeah.
Are there any questions for Director Claiborne? Seeing none, we'll move on to PR with Director Grenstainer.
Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are all having a great day today and enjoying the nice weather. So some updates from us is we are currently revising the student government logo. We had some drafts sent in from MU Marketing, and we did some revisions, the PR committee and I, and along with Jacob and Jaden, and we came to a conclusion that needs to be sent back and do some more edits. So we will be sending it to MU Marketing next week, and we will be getting some different edits and some different drafts. This is going to be a long process as we want quality content and not get it out quickly. We are looking for some PR senators and at-larges, so we are setting out applications. We have been reaching out to different marketing classes and PR classes, so a lot of outreach going on from there. We're looking at some different marketing opportunities within the MU, such as table tents, the TVs, signboards, banners, all you can think of. We have a surprise project with Jacob and Jaden that will be coming up later. You already know what it is, Jaden. So that'll be coming up later, so keep your eyes out for that. We have some newsletter content starting, so we're just collecting some content, and we will be sending out the August/September newsletter later this month. And we are doing some DEI projects with the DEI committee coming up, so be on the lookout for that. Thanks.
Are there any questions for PR? Seeing none, we'll move on to Diversity Committee with Director Malowski.
Hello. Hope everyone's doing well this Wednesday. I don't know if this is working or not. So the official date has been confirmed for the first town hall dinner. It's gonna be at the BCC September 28th from 5:30 to 7:30. We're still figuring out what we want to do for catering, but I kind of want to do something that's non-traditional American food, so not that. So if anyone knows of any good catering places in Ames or in the area, that'd be great. Also, we're doing a presentation with ISU Daily to talk about how to reach out to people and communicate with groups without tokenizing individuals. And then I've also been talking to BSA since this year. The black class for Iowa State for 2020, whatever it is the largest it's been in 18 years. So they've been really wanting to do more outreach and build community within Iowa State. So they're thinking about creating a student government liaison position on their exec board to help with that. And then tonight we'll also be reconfirming Obi as a senator for the DI committee, and then Nathan as well, who's also previously been on the committee. And we're still looking to fill out some Senate positions, and we're also just reaching out to different student organizations of different identities to tell them about our upcoming event.
Are there any questions for Diversity? Seeing none, we'll move on to Student Initiatives Committee with Senator Mays.
Hello. So we didn't meet this week just because our meetings are normally Monday, and we obviously didn't have school. But I did interview Carolyn last week, who's sitting back here, and she's going to be joining as an at-large. I think she's overly qualified for the role, and we'll see her bill soon.
Any questions for Student Initiatives? Seeing none, we'll move on to Local Affairs with Director Garmin.
Evening, everyone. Sophia and I met last week to, since this is the first year Local Affairs has been a thing, to set the grounds of just different projects that we could be working on. The committee will officially meet on next week, and then, but a few senators are getting on some community and city commissions, so that's the first step, and then just kind of figuring out where other things that we can do, but I'll have more in the coming weeks. Thanks.
Any questions for Local Affairs? Seeing none, we'll move on to Sustainability Committee with Director Vanderkamp.
All right, so I don't have too much this week. Just once again, if you know anyone interested in the Sustainability Committee, we do have some people that will be hopefully confirmed today, 1 senator and then 2 at-larges. And in addition, be looking forward to some information regarding the City of Ames. I spoke with Mary today, and they have a lot of interesting ideas about raising local sustainability and making sure that we can connect with students. And also, they have a climate action plan that is hopefully going to be done by the end. I think they're looking at November a little bit more, but I'll communicating with Bryce and Mary about that in the future, and we'll update you guys as I have more updates.
Any questions for sustainability? Seeing none, we'll move on to Health and Wellness with Director Everest.
Hi, everyone. So I have a couple updates. I'm holding interviews for my committee for my senator seats tomorrow, so very excited for those. Hoping to have those finalized and hopefully a first meeting planned over the weekend into next week. And then I haven't seated at-larges yet. I'm going to wait until the mass email goes out, but I have gotten some interest. If anyone you know is interested in joining as an at-large, feel free to give them my contact information. I'd be happy to give them some more information. And then there is an event on Friday. It is related to suicide prevention, so I just wanted to give everyone a little heads up. It is called the Field of Memories. It's going to be outside of Parks Library. They're going to be putting, I believe, flags in the yard for every college student lost to suicide every year. That being said, if you or someone you know is struggling and you don't know where to get started, contact Student Health and Wellness, contact Student Counseling Services, or I would be very happy to help you find resources that you need. September is National Suicide Awareness Month, and as much as it sucks, it's a big issue, and I just wanted everyone here to know that they are valued and supported.
Any questions for Health and Wellness? Seeing none, we'll go into comments from the Judicial Branch with Chief Justice Cecil.
The Supreme Court didn't meet this week, so I don't really have anything.
Move on to comments from the advisor with Sophia.
Hello, everyone. Happy third week. I guess I'm just saying that every time now. So happy third meeting. If you have any projects, plans, ideas that you would like to talk about, please send me an email, set up a meeting. I'm more than happy to chat about whatever you need assistance with. And if you are a committee chair, please be on the lookout for an email asking when your time and location of your meetings are. I'm going to try to set up a schedule with everybody to show up at the meeting. So please be on the lookout for that and then respond sooner rather than later.
Any questions for Sophie or Sophia? Seeing none, we will go on to comments with the Executive Branch from President Ludwig.
Yeah, so last week, Vice President Ulrich and myself met with Senior Director Grensteiner to talk about PR and our public relations strategies for the year, and specifically how we want to kind of innovate and come up with some new ideas. We also talked earlier this week, I met with Engineering Career Services to talk about what resources they provide for international students and how they work with companies to help make sure that they're open to hiring international students. And so that's kind of one of a long series of meetings that Vice President Ulrich and myself are taking part in to kind of get a feel for the different resources and support mechanisms that different departments have across campus, so we can maybe create something more uniform to support international students. And then this weekend or early next week, we will be meeting with the other student leaders from both Iowa and UNI in the lead up to the Board of Regents meeting, just to set up some priorities before the student leader meeting, and then also preview the budgets that the 3 universities have submitted for consideration by the board. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Any questions for President Ludwig? Seeing none, we will jump into the content of the night, starting with external matters. 2022-2-002F, funding Cyride advertisements for Carrie Chapman Catt Center for Women in Politics with Senator Yonting.
Okay, so this bill is essentially to promote early voting for ISU students, and they want to advertise on like the Tales of the Ride, and they're requesting funding for that. And I yield my time to Finance Director.
Yeah, Stu, we are actually on your bill right now. Sorry. No, I was late on your time. But if you want to go to the podium and kind of just explain, sorry, you just came in. But yeah, so she'll introduce herself, what she does, and then also kind of what this bill's for, why student government is essential for this, and then our partnership, and just any questions that you have, you can ask any of us, and we will answer them.
Okay, hi, I'm Susan Cloud. I'm a communications specialist at the Carrie Chapman Katz Center for Women in Politics. And I'm here tonight because we are requesting aid, support from student government to help pay for some advertising on SciRide buses. And the advertising will promote early voting among the student population for students who plan to vote in Story County from your college address. And the ads will include the dates, times, and locations where early voting will be available in Story County. And we did this a couple years ago for the presidential election. We want to do it every other year for the presidential, then the midterm, then the presidential election. The Vice President of Student Affairs has committed $2,000. The total cost for the project is $5,200. They've committed $2,000. We've applied for a grant for the remaining $3,200, but we don't know yet if we're going to get it. And so we've approached student government to see if they can cover that $3,200 until we find out whether we get the grant. And if we get the grant, we would reimburse student government for that $3,200. A question that came up is this something we want to do every year that we're going to need funding for? It would be every other year, and yes, if student government would be open to a partnership to help support these ads, this is something the Katz Center would like to pursue in the future.
All right, the floor is open for discussion or any questions to our guest.
I move the committee amendments.
Is there a second to do so? It's been properly moved and seconded to. Is there any discussion on the amendments reflected on the screen for Finance Committee? Question has been called for and seconded. Is there any objection to voting now? Seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All those in unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to passing these amendments by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, the amendment shall be added to the bill. We are back on discussion to the bill as a whole.
Do you need anything else from me? All right. Well, thank you all. Oh.
Question has been called for and seconded. Is there any objection to voting now? Seeing none, we'll move into a vote. Since this is a finance bill, we are going to do a quick little roll call vote. So when I call your name, just please say yes, no, or abstain. Agba? Becker? Yes. Bruick? Yes. Burks? Dre? Yes. Eisma? Yes. Engelken? Yes. Frencher? Yes. Ackbarth? Yes. Holiday? Coalhouse? Yes. Euler? Yes. Mahoney? Yes. Mays? Yes. Mosker? Momini? Patel? Knepp? Ivraj? Blade? Blader? Fancy? Thornton? Pepete? Bow? Yonting? With 22 to 0, the bill passes.
Thank you all very much.
All right, that being the end of external matters, we will start internal matters, starting with general orders. No general orders, so we'll go into special orders for the evening, starting with 2022-2-002 SG, seating an at-large to the Student Initiatives Committee. Speaker Mahoney.
I put the wrong name on this agenda. Sorry, it's actually there it is. Senator
Oh,
Mays.
we will toss it over to Senator Mays.
Yeah, so this is just the at-large bill I mentioned earlier. Carolyn, if you wanted to speak, you can step up to the podium. Perfect. And I think Carolyn's overqualified, but she's just going to introduce herself and speak on why she thinks she'd be a good fit for SI.
Hi guys, I'm Carolyn. I'm a sophomore studying psychology and human development family studies, and I'm really excited to be here tonight, and I think that I could bring to the table some leadership skills, and I have a huge passion for the university and all the students here, and I also just want to say thank you for having me, and it's nice to get to know you all.
The floor is now open for any discussion or questions that we might want to ask. You want to stay up there real quick. You're good. Speaker Mahoney.
Just kind of a question I like to ask every nominee. Do you have any project ideas or anything you might want to try to work on as part of Student Initiatives Committee?
Yeah, so I was actually talking to Meredith during my interview. So I serve as the wellness specialist for a chapter facility here at Iowa State, and I've had a lot of students come to me and say that they feel like the student health and wellness could have some additions to it, from the students, have students work one-on-one with each other. And so I thought that that was an idea I could bring to the table, maybe work with that, if that makes any sense.
Speaker Mahoney.
I have gotten to know Carolyn on a pretty personal basis in the last couple of years. We even lived together this year, so if that's not getting to know someone, I don't know what is. But she is just a wonderful person, and she's so compassionate and dedicated with everything she does. And I think we couldn't ask for a better person to add to the StuGov community.
Thank you, Ann.
Question has been called for and seconded. Is there any objection to voting now? Seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this bill by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, congratulations. This motion passes. We will now start 2022-2-003 SG, seating senators to Finance Committee with Speaker Mahoney.
I will yield my opening speaking privilege to Finance Director Claiborne.
You want to go up to the podium? You can, just ask questions. Finance Committee is a committee that I think there should be at least a few questions about. Very qualified and very excited to see if he gets seated.
Well, hi everybody. My name is Colton Eisma. I am a sophomore here studying ag business. I'm excited to be a part of Finance Committee, and I've had a great time in student government. And hopefully this is one step closer to reaching my goal of being finance director for student government.
Is there any discussion or questions for our candidate? Senator Yonting.
Yes. Would you like to talk about your qualifications? Why do you think that you are very suitable for this role?
So I'd like to say some of my experiences with finance began with assisting my parents' trucking company back home in Northwest Iowa. I helped them with QuickBooks, and that just developed that passion for maintaining the records and making sure everything is up to kept and in order. So it's one less thing we had to worry about every week. And then some experiences on campus. I have been my house floor and treasurer, as well as Joe Freehall, second treasurer, all throughout last year. And this year I'm currently my house in Friley, Kimball House treasurer, and possibly Friley treasurer after I submit that application after this meeting.
Senator Keeler.
There we go. Sounds like you're pretty qualified. You know, I think you have the experience, but you did list a lot of positions there. So I guess I'm just wondering if you have a plan to manage your time so you can devote, you know, all the necessary time to this committee as well as your other various positions.
I do, and I have made sure to keep everything, you know, with numbers. It's just all about dates as well, keeping everything in order. I have plenty of time in between classes and meetings to stay on top of everything, and with how to make sure I have enough time for this is to spend plenty of time in the office. If I have any questions, I can make sure I can reach out to Kit as well as anybody else a part of Finance Committee.
All right, thank you. I yield.
Question has been called for and seconded. Is there any objection to voting now? Seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All the unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this bill by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, congratulations. This motion passes. We will now move on to 2022-2-004 SG, seating senators to DEI Committee with Speaker Mahoney.
I will yield my opening speaking privilege to Director Malowski.
So for today, the first person going up is going to be Obi. He's already a senator, and he previously was on the DEI committee. So I feel like he's very qualified, and he has a lot of really good ideas for the semester. So here you go.
Should I speak? Okay. Hi. My name is Obi Agba. I was on the DEI committee as of last semester. And yeah, I'm here to be reconfirmed.
Senator Keeler.
Yeah, I guess, you know, Director Malowski said you have a bunch of cool ideas, so I'm kind of interested to hear what you have planned for the committee.
Okay, yeah. So the first thing I guess I have planned is to get more Black, Indigenous, and other people of color into student government, and just to know more about what student government does, like especially just in general, which I hope to work with the PR team. And I also hope to work on a couple of the projects that Director Mary has proposed, such as which the town halls, hoping to get more outreach for that, and making sure that people know about it and can come to see.
All right, thank you. I yield.
Any further questions or discussion? Question has been called for and seconded. Is there any objection to voting now? Seeing none, unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this bill by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, congratulations. This motion passes. We will now move on to 2022-2-005 SG, seating at-larges to DEI Committee with Speaker Mahoney.
Once again, I will pass my opening speaking privilege to Director Malowski.
So the last person that I'm having reconfirmed today is Nathan. He was on the committee fall, but then he studied abroad, hence why he has to be reconfirmed. But he's been an essential part of the team, and he has like a really good idea that has to do a little bit with like IT and outreach and like informing students more about student government. So I'm excited for him to talk about that.
Hi, my name is Nathan O. I'm a fifth-year architecture student. I was in DEI committee in the fall semester because I was studying abroad in the spring. And I'm just passionate about helping community and being a representative to like the Asian community and just the communities on campus.
Are there any questions or discussion from the floor? Senator Keeler.
I guess I'll just ask the same question I asked Senator Agba. Just curious to hear about any ideas and stuff you might have for the committee.
Sure. I had an idea of creating some sort of platform to allow like people from the various colleges of Iowa State, as well as organizations and clubs, to share their ideas and like their personal experiences related to DEI on this kind of platform, because I feel like student government is kind of like the mediator between the students and the university administration. So I feel like everyone deserves to have a voice, even if they're not in student government. So.
Yeah. Thank you. I yield.
Question has been called for and seconded. Is there any objection to voting now? Seeing none, unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this bill by way of unanimous consent now? Seeing none, congratulations. This motion passes. We will now start 2022-2-006 SG, seating at-larges to Sustainability Committee with Speaker Mahoney.
I will yield my opening speaking privilege to Director Vanderkamp.
So tonight we have two candidates. Originally it was four, but due to some personal reasons they were unable to attend. There is one other person, but I will be reading on their behalf. But they're both very qualified people. I just was in a rush just because there's a lot of other amazing things that Mary has brought up to my attention, but unfortunately those are happening in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So just in quite a rush to get some extra hands to help me, but do appreciate all of them. The one that couldn't be here is Olivia Miller. She was previously on the committee. And in her statement, she just wanted to note that she was previously on the Ecology Committee, and she is working to build tall bat boxes across Iowa State University's campus, and it's something she wants to continue as well. But I will give the rest of the time to the other individual that is here.
Hi, my name is Spencer Giddings. I'm a senior in the environmental science program at Iowa State, and I have a minor in geology. I have worked as an RA in the dorms for the past 2 years. This year I am no longer an RA because I decided that I didn't want to be in the dorms 4 years of college. And I quickly realized that I got very, very bored not doing anything, and I really wanted to get involved on campus. I actually talked to Eddie, got me in touch with Blake, and I had an interview with him to join the Sustainability Council as an at-large member. I hope that I can help bring some experience with the environmental science side of the LAS college. And yeah.
Floor is now open for any discussion or questions that we might have.
I move the amendments reflected on screen.
It's been properly moved and seconded to amend the bill as reflected on the screen, striking the two names. Is there any discussion on this? Question has been called for and seconded. Is there any objection to voting now? Unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to passing these amendments by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, the bill shall be updated. We're now back on the bill as a whole. Question has been called for and seconded. Is there any objection to voting now? Seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All those in favor, unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this bill by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, motion passes. Congratulations. Moving on to our final special order of the night, 2022-2-007 SG, seating senators to Sustainability Committee with Speaker Mahoney.
Once again, I yield my opening speaking privilege to Director Vanderkamp.
All I have to say is she was previously on Sustainability Committee and honestly probably knows a lot more than I do, so no comments than that.
Hi, I'm Kat Engelken, and last year I was on Sustainability Committee. I was actually an at-large, and it started my love for student government. So that's where I originally started. I have a lot of projects that I didn't quite finish that year, so I'd like to continue those. One is the magnet project, which I have talked about at the retreat, but basically it's putting a bunch of information about sustainability resources on a magnet and dispersing them among the residence halls and maybe expand it to off campus. So I would really like to continue that. I was an at-large last year for Sustainability Committee. I am a sustainability minor. I am an animal ecology major, and I just love sustainability, so yeah.
Question has been called for. Seconded. Is there any objection to voting now? Seeing none, unanimous consent has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this bill by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, congratulations, Kat. This motion passes. We will move into new business for the night, starting with 2022-2-003F, funding Cows Week events with Senator Yonting.
I yield my time to Finance Director Claiborne.
Yeah, so this bill is for funding Cows Week. There was obviously with inflation going up, Cows Week is very big on campus. It's one of the biggest events, I think, probably in the fall semester. And they're just asking for at least $5,000, and it's coming from the events account, which is not bound by PNC. But there are a few requirements for the events account where it is free for all students, inviting in nature. But yeah, so if you have any questions, please let me know.
Are there any questions of intent for Senator Yonting or Director Claiborne? Seeing none, that wraps up new business, and we'll move into closing announcements for the night. If anyone has a closing announcement, please raise your placard now. Seeing none, I'll kick off our closing announcements. I just wanted to put out that we have over there. Sorry, Director Claiborne.
You're fine. I just thought of this. Please fill out the Qualtrics form for name tags. Not everyone's on there. I didn't want to order them because not everyone filled it out, and I don't want to order twice. So if you didn't fill it out, please email me if you need the link again. But please fill it out by tomorrow night, or else I'm ordering, and then you have to wait. Sorry, but please fill it out.
Is there any other closing announcements? All right, so hopefully all of you got my university committee application email the other day. Please apply. I'm going to close that application after Senate next week, so the 14th. And I just wanted to list off a couple of the committees on there, just in case it's a long email. And, you know, just if any of these pique your interest, but there's the Performing Arts Committee, the Transportation Advisory Council, the Lectures Committee, the ISUPD Chief Advisory Board, Trademark Advisory Committee, and the next two are actually City of Ames commissions, and so you'd be involved with the City of Ames with that, but the Campus and Community Commission and the Human Relations Commission. And so if any of those, you know, strike a chord with you or ring a bell for you, fill out that application, and we will talk. But if there's no other closing announcements, we'll turn it over to Vice Speaker Bruick.
Hey everyone. So I just had one little, I guess I have two things, one serious and one less serious. I just wanted to touch on the mentor-mentee program. One of the duties of the Office of the Vice Speaker is administering the mentor-mentee program, and there were some issues with the transition last year that meant that that didn't quite happen how that was supposed to. But I've talked to Sophie, and we're actually looking into a kind of a revamp of that program. So that's what, you know, we're working on that. The plan right now is to, I'm working on developing like a Qualtrics survey so we can get feedback from new senators, people who've been mentees but not necessarily been mentors in the past, and then people who have been mentors in the past. So what their experiences were, what potential shortcomings, and what anything new they might like to see in a revamped and revitalized program. So that's on the horizon coming up. So I think that's all I have for that. And then on a less serious note, the Ludwig Lovers Iowa State Student Government softball team, our first game is on a Monday night at 8 o'clock of next week. We're playing on, I think it's field 2, over on the fields east of Jack Trice. So pretty hype about that. If you can make it, be there. You know, it's gonna be a riot. We're gonna crush it. Actually, if anyone who's currently on the team and is planning to be there, if you could meet me real quick after the meeting's over, so I could just run over a couple things with you real quick, that'd be great. And that's all I got. Turn it off.
So I'm just thinking we should change the bylaws to make Vice Speaker have to do intramurals for us. Okay, couple quick things. If you aren't on a committee yet, that is part of your job as a senator. So definitely look at some of the lists that Jaden, our Vice President Ulrich, sent out. We do have plenty of committee openings as well, so if you need help finding committee, please reach out to me. If you have friends that are interested in joining student government, we have a lot of open, not a lot, but we have a fairly decent number of open Senate seats right now. 1 for UROC, 2 for College of Human Sciences, 1 for Vet Med, 1 for Res Hall. We will be seeing a Res Hall senator next week at Senate to hopefully seat them. And then we have both the sorority and IFC seats. So if you have anybody that's interested in joining student government, any friends, talk to them, have them reach out to me, whatever. The one big thing, so if you're going to listen to anything tonight from me, this is it. Next week, Senate will actually be starting at 7 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, what will instead be happening is we will be going over to SHOP to basically get a presentation by them about volunteering with them, working with them, and kind of what they're doing, what they're working on. We love SHOP here, so we're going to go over and give them a little bit of support. Not mandatory, but highly encourage you to come. That's why it's starting at 6.
Speaker Mahoney, what is SHOP?
Oh, yes, good question. So SHOP is the food pantry here on campus. We've previously given them money in the past. It was a huge part of President Ludwig and President Ulrich's campaign. They do a fantastic amount of great work for this university and for the students here. There's rising food insecurity, and SHOP's one of the big ways that we can try to combat that. So any way we can support them, I think, is a great idea. So that's why Senate will be starting at 7 next week, and at 6 we will be going over to SHOP. Expect an email about it a little bit later with the details, but I think it's over in Beyer Hall, right?
Yes, we will send out the information
Yeah.
for the room, and they should also have pizza, so if that helps you come.
Yeah, so Senate at 7 next week, SHOP at 6. With that, move to adjourn, go Cyclones.
Move to adjourn. All right, motion passed.